This is the AT8. This is a British Tier 6 tank destroyer. And the map is mines. So we're going to destroy some tanks. I am going to tell you a little bit of something. You know what? This is a dumb idea. That's what I wanted to tell you. What I should have done was taken up a sniping position at the start of the game, but I didn't because I'm too busy chatting. So we allowed some tanks to get by without destroying them. You know what? I'm not happy with this. They're going to have to go to the cap, so I'm going to go to the cap. The problem is that Burask is going to have his way with me, so I won't be able to play my favorite position. The game just jumped a little bit. What I was going to say is that I do a little bit of activism. By activism, I mean I analyze news stories. I discovered the fake news a long time ago. It was like 2007. I said, there's something wrong. The news is not legitimate. And I just stopped watching. You know, people weren't really using YouTube or anything. And what was I going to say? Something that was in the news that made me think of this. Oh, there's something called Action Project 21 or something like that. It's a United Nations project that people say, oh, this is horrible. They should never enact this. And I went and read it to see the horror. And they're right. It is horrible. And they should have never enacted it. And I'm going to show you what happens when dumb people get appointed to positions of power. Basically, this Action Project 21 talks about poverty. But it's not just poverty. It's a few other issues that it discusses. Poverty just happens to be one of them. They're firing heat rounds at me. So poverty is one of the issues that it covers. Oh, you see the Burask knows I'm low on hit points, so he dove down. If I die, you're not going to hear about Action Project 21. So, yeah, we won. So Action Project 21, it talks about poverty. It talks about children that are in danger. It talks about women that are victims. And I read it, and it's super long. And I said, this is one of the worst things I ever read. And like I said, it shows you what happens when dumb people are in power. Basically, what they did is they took a bunch of words, poverty, women, children, hunger, and they found as many ways as possible to reword, to combine these with other words to make it sound like they have the solution to the world's problems. And the other words that they combine them with: discover, educate, learn, inform, enhance, prioritize, finance. And then they would take each word, like they would say, poverty. We need to educate people about poverty. And then they'd have all this stuff about educating people about poverty. And then they would say, we need to inform people about poverty. And they have all this stuff about that. We need to solve the solution with poverty. We need to let other people know what poverty is, wealthy people, the Western nations. And then they would do the same thing for women. We need to educate people. We need to identify problems that women face. And then they would say, well, we need to identify problems that women face who have poverty. We need to educate other people in the world about the problems that women face with poverty. And it became this super long document where they just ramble on with all this nonsense. And when I look at it, I think to myself, I do not believe that the UN doesn't already have a document or an agency that already does this. And they were saying, we need to create agencies in every country of the world regarding poverty to educate. And then they would do the same thing. We need to create an agency to educate everybody in every country about poverty. We need to create an agency in every country to educate, to inform everybody about poverty. And I was like, this is like hundreds of pages of garbage. And anybody who would vote for this doesn't know what they're doing. It's going to do absolutely nothing, and it just creates redundancies. You're going to create another agency to cover some. This is the year 2020. It's not the 1950s. They already have all these agencies, and they're already not doing anything, as evidenced by the problem that you think the problem hasn't gone away. And my parents came from a poor country. Nobody needs to lecture me. I grew up poor. I don't need to be lectured about poverty, which I don't believe exists.